This is the Big O Show. This is the Big O Show.
Is Miami Liquor Store. Download the app, iOS or Android at Liquor Split and order, man. There you go. Weather is going to be tough at times. Don't get out there and drive in the rain. If you're already drinking at home, don't get behind the wheel. Call Liquor Split. They will take care of you. All right, Anthony, how you feeling, my man? You feeling good?
Good, Big O. How are you?
Very good, very good. Yesterday, I brought it up to Ira, and I asked him, does Pat Riley see what I see? And I think he saw what I saw. And in his press conference yesterday, you kind of get the feeling that he said he was open to, acquiring if there's that player out there
Right.
and all that. And I love the psychological ploy behind it because he mentions Bam and he mentions Tyler, and he doesn't want to put the kibosh by saying, we need that alpha because we clearly don't have it next to Jimmy on this team. But he left it open to Bam and Tyler to maybe fill that void. But when it was all said and done, did you not get the impression that the Godfather said, yeah, we're open for trading. We're ready to make a move if the move is the right one?
Yeah, I think that was the clear tone of that press conference. And it's not surprising, right? The Heat every offseason are open to making an upgrade if it's available. And if there's a star that becomes available because he doesn't want to play in his team in that market and he wants to move elsewhere, the Heat are going to be in that game. I think we know that. I think, like I said last time we spoke, Big O, the chances are that, look, there's only a few superstars right now that potentially could become available. The chances are it doesn't happen, and the Heat have to come back with much of the same roster. Exactly. I think Pat knows that. And I think that's why he issued challenges to Tyler and Bam, because the Heat's best, most realistic way to taking that next step next season, if they don't make a trade, which again is out of their control at this point, it's going to take somebody asking for to be moved, is going to be improvement by Tyler and Bam and taking that next step. So it's going to be internal growth. And you saw kind of Pat issuing that challenge to both those guys yesterday.
Yeah, and listen, in the end, it's what I see with the Heat is, unfortunately, I think Pat looks at it the way I look at it right now, that it's a terrific team if you bring it back, but you really don't. Excuse me, you don't really. Damn, I've been struggling my voice lately here. You really don't have that guy that can complement Jimmy Butler. So you look at it and you say, is it on this roster? No. So I'm going to have to make this move. You know what I mean? And I think in the end, even when these guys retire in 2 to 3 years from now, when Lowry's gone and then Butler's gone a year later, if you really look at it, do you have a centerpiece that can then take over for Jimmy? No, you don't. And I think that's what deep down inside, he kind of committed to finishing this build here, this run here. Well, if he wants to finish it faster, he's going to have to make that trade.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not saying you're wrong, Big O. I think you have a point, but I will issue a counterpoint to that.
Okay.
Tyler Hero, I'm not saying he would have gotten this team over the top, but he wasn't healthy in the Eastern Conference Finals. He could have been that second scorer. This team again was. I know we don't want to. He made one shot. Shouldn't, I think, this team was one shot away from the finals, right? As presently constructed with injuries,
but
it could very easily be playing in the finals right now.
But it took Jimmy to play like Superman for you to play one. You can't have him play like Superman every game. You can't even expect to be here again at that point next year because Philly's going to come back, Milwaukee's going to come back. They're going to make some kind of moves. Boston's not getting any worse. They're only going to get better with this.
Nothing is the same. Nothing will be the same next year. Nothing is static, and that's what the Heat have to consider. But I'm just saying that for as much as we're saying they don't have that second guy that can put them over the top, they've been to the finals once in the last 3 years. We're a couple minutes away from maybe doing 2 in the last 3 years. Boston is, right now, and they have home court advantage in the finals. It could be 3 straight years the Heat lose to the team that wins the championship. The Heat are very close. Yeah, a superstar, another guy next to Jimmy would, put this team to another level. But as presently constructed, if that's what happens, they're going to be a contender. Are they going to make it to the finals? I mean, obviously, who knows? But they're going to be in that group that you say, I wouldn't be surprised if they make it, right? And I think in the NBA, that's kind of all you want, right? That's all you want, to be in that tier. And the second point I will make is Jimmy at 22, which is Tyler's age, Jimmy at 24, Bam's age, was not this Jimmy.
No.
He was not this Jimmy. So I don't think, I'm not saying these guys will turn into a Jimmy.
But they're not wired like Jimmy.
Well, I agree. Jimmy's very unique.
That's part of being a dog. You have to be wired like that. You have to be a son of a bitch. And I still have not seen that from Bam does not even possess it. Not even close. He's Barkov and Huberto. Super gifted, but very passive. They don't have. Maybe Tyler has a little bit of some in him.
Right.
It just hasn't completely come out yet. Or maybe it never will. I don't know.
Yeah, we don't know. We don't know.
But none of them are wired like Butler. That's the thing.
Yeah.
That I can already see. Either you have it or you don't, dude.
Yeah.
Either you're wired like Zoe or you're not. Either you're wired like Timmy or you're not. Either you're wired like Dwayne Wade or you're not. You either have it or you don't. I have not seen it from either. No one on that team outside of Jimmy.
There's only a few guys wired like that. I don't even know if Donovan Mitchell, to throw a name out there, is wired like that. We don't know. We don't know. But I will say Jimmy also, along with that mentality that you're saying that's really unique to him and makes him different, he's gotten a lot better skill-wise, and he's grown as a player. He's become a better all-around player scoring. Yes. And Bam and Tyler will be better players. They will be better players in a few years. Will they be an alpha like Jimmy? Who knows? Like you said, we don't know, especially with Tyler. He's only 22. But all I'm saying is, look, I think the Heat challenge right now is Jimmy's window is now.
Yeah.
He's going to be 33 in a few months. Kyle is 36. PJV comes back is 37. Like, this is the window now. So you can't be waiting on Tyler, to develop into the player he's going to be in 5 years. So they're trying to thread that needle again of, you have these young assets and you want to continue to develop them and continue, you don't want to obviously just trade them for a veteran.
How about this, Anthony? I'm going to put you in the spot right here.
Yeah.
Because you talk about, well, maybe these guys can turn into it. So I'm going to tell you next year, Lowry's going to come back healthy and Jimmy's going to look good.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. But it all hinges on Tyler Hero being that guy. If he's that guy, you can win a title. If he's not that guy, well, then you get fired. So what do you do as a general manager?
I mean, unless do I have the option of turning him into a star?
You either got to trade for a stud, or you're saying, no, I'm putting my job on the line with Tyler Hero.
Yeah,
so is Anthony Chiang, the GM, going to put his job on the line for Tyler Hero?
At 22, 23 years old, I don't think you could count on him to be that right now in 1 year. But I don't know if there'll be a better player that becomes available. And Tyler's very good. He was the best bench player in the league. He was their most dynamic scorer in the regular season. If you tell me,
but is he wired like John Morant?
I would say, like you said, Tyler has some of that in him.
You keep whipping out 22 on me.
Yeah.
So I just whip out John Morant on your ass.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Either you have it or you don't, bro.
Right.
Either you're Michael Jordan as a sophomore hitting the big shot to win the national championship, or you're not that guy.
But
Alonzo Mourning was that guy when he was in high school, coming out of high school, going to Georgetown and practicing with the USA basketball team.
Right. But what's the alternative? There's nobody available that you would trade Tyler for at this point. Would you? I mean, what's the alternative?
If Donovan Mitchell wants out, would you?
That's different. I think I would. I would definitely consider it.
Okay.
But I still think it's unlikely. I think Utah is going to do everything they can to build around him and to make sure they get a coach that he likes.
Yeah, I get that. That's a perfect world for them.
Right.
But what about if he wants out?
Yeah, it's going to take that. It's going to take that, and it's going to take him saying, I want to go to the Heat. Because there'll be other teams out
a lot
there.
Here, right? For 20 years.
There have. And I'm not saying it's not going to happen. I just say the odds are, right, for that specific thing to happen, for him to say, I want out and I want to go to the Heat, I would say better chances he doesn't do that, right? I mean, there's always a chance he could, but there's other teams out there who will have competitive trade packages as well. So it's
True.
not, like
Yeah.
the Knicks, for instance. I mean, that the Knicks have a lot they can offer.
But
as
does
well.
he want to play for the Knicks? Is
He's
the
from New
question.
York. Yeah, that's right. No,
Does he
I think
want to play for the Knicks?
Right.
Is the question. You know what I mean? That's been brought up a lot. I have yet to see a free agent choose New York yet in the last 20 years. I like they
Amari
don't choose New York, huh?
Amari Stoudemire.
Yeah, with one leg, with no knee, with one knee, he chose New York. I mean, at that time, what was that? That was going to be the big three, right, for them?
That was 2010. That was the same summer as the big three.
Yeah.
Yeah. I guess my point is, Bigo, is like, I think the Heat definitely, and we both know this, will consider any player who they think is going to make this team better. But the chances are that most of these guys will be back because, it's hard to envision right now.
Well,
Early
wait a minute,
offseason.
hold on a second. You keep saying that the chances are hard.
Yeah.
Yet for 25 years, it's Zoe and Timmy and Mason and Shaq and Jimmy and Bosh
Kyle.
and Bron and somebody always shows up, dude. Somebody shakes from the trees. Somehow or another, they wrangle some kind of star from somewhere.
Right.
Dan Marley comes. Whatever. Oh, we're loaded. We'll still add Eddie Jones and Brian Grant. Because that team was, people don't realize, they think of the Brian Grant, Eddie Jones after everybody left, that they had to put them as the front pieces. But those guys were added as complementary pieces to a loaded freaking team. So this dude's been doing this for 25 years. I got to feel that somebody's going to want to come here next year. I don't know.
Maybe. I think
give me a wild card name that isn't Lillard, Mitchell, or Beal.
Zach LaVine. I don't think it's going to happen, but he's, Chicago. There's a little bit of question right there of his future with that organization. So I guess that's one, right? That's one.
And I give him credit because I thought he was just going to be like a dunk guy and all. He has turned himself into a player, bro.
But that's why you can't. I think I know the urgency is high again because the window's now. But again, Bam and Tyler are young players. They're gonna get better.
I've never seen Bam Adebayo ever act like Zach LaVine. Ever.
I would
Zach
say
LaVine thought he was a star when he was just a dunker.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Even if you're not that guy, I'm trying to think of the guy Dion Waiters. Even if you think you're not that guy, but you act like that guy, okay, well, that's half the battle at least.
Right.
I don't see it from those guys. That's my problem. A little from
how
time.
Do you, but not from how do you feel about the Bam Draymond comparison?
Zero comparisons. Draymond,
the way they play, not their attitude and the way they play, just the way they play.
But that's half the battle, doggy. It's the attitude doesn't make Udonis Haslem, because Udonis Haslem is not gifted athletically. The Lord did not bless him with the kind of ability to have the career he had, but he had the career he had because of that.
Okay,
right there, and there's certain guys have, or athletes, women, men, doesn't matter. I don't care who you are. They have that hunger to want to be great. Whether they are or not, we don't know. We argue about it. We'll talk about it.
Yeah.
But there's that drive that doesn't stop, bro. Like Westbrook wants to be that guy. Never really got to that point, no matter how much we talk about his crazy ass stats. But he always played with that. Still plays like that to this day. Even though he'll play inefficient, he'll do things that Allen Iverson did in the past that don't necessarily translate to winning at times. But sometimes he'll overcome it because that drive is there. You know what I'm saying? And so some of those nights will go well for him, and all of a sudden it looks better than what it is. You have to at least possess that. And that's my problem, that we're already several years in with Bam. I'm done. It's like Barkov and Huberdeau. I'm done. Dude, I know who you are now. You're
Yeah.
talented, but you're not the guy. You know what I mean? And that's the edge. Jimmy is
Yeah.
not is just like UD. How many small forwards, power shooting guards are way more talented than Jimmy Butler? But how many of them have half the heart and determination of Jimmy Butler? And that's what makes Jimmy Butler Jimmy Butler. Hell, he made me call him a superstar because
Yeah.
I always thought Jimmy was an all-star.
Right. How can you not after these two of the last three playoffs? Right.
How can you got to take the L. And I got to take the L and say, dude, I'm dead wrong. That guy's a superstar.
Yeah.
The way he plays, he may not be as gifted as LeBron, as Shaq, as Wade, as many superstars that we can point at, but he's got the same heart and determination they all do. And that's
Right.
what separates you. And that's what I don't see from Bam. And that's why I can't ever expect him to be that guy that Jimmy needs. Tyler, I'll give it to you a little bit because he's still young. But then on the flip side, I'll tell you, well, there's some young guys that, most of them, Magic Johnson,
Yeah.
from the get-go. Oh, Kareem's out? No
For
problem.
sure.
I'll play center at rookie, and
Those
I'll
are
get
all-time
40 and
greats.
20.
Yeah. Right.
You know what
But
I'm
at this
saying?
point, we don't need an all-time great next to Jimmy. We need an all-star. We need an all-star
Yes.
caliber player.
Yeah.
And Ben was that 2 years ago, and he might be that again next year. But
It's got to be all-star / franchise.
Yeah.
Like you're on the brink of being a franchise player
Right.
because you have to have that want, that need, that desire. And that's the only thing I don't see from Bam.
Yeah.
That he is content with whatever you give him. Superstars are never content. They always want more. They want the ball more. They want to run the ball more. They want to shoot the ball more. They want to throw the ball more. Whatever it is, they want the ball.
Yeah.
That's what's
Well,
missing.
Whether it happens or not, we saw the message that Pat sent out yesterday. And if, again, this roster is back, or for the most part back, it's going to be on Bam and Tyler to improve and try to be that guy or try to turn into that guy. And we'll see what happens. But there could be a change made in the next few months that maybe Tyler's not on this team in a few, next season. But
Right.
if they are, those are going to be the two guys that are going to be relied on to provide more,
Yeah.
to take this team to the next level. So we'll see.
Amen. All right. One more thing before I let you go. We talked about it. Everybody's talked about it. He did not dance around it.
Yeah.
The Kyle Lowry thing. Yes. Obviously, he was not happy with his conditioning. Are you hearing anything from, because you guys didn't get to talk to Kyle Lowry,
Right.
to ask him personally, unfortunately, but are you hearing anything from his side, his camp, those kind of things on what went on with his conditioning this year?
Well, I spoke to someone close to Kyle, actually yesterday after Pat's presser, and he said, Pat's comments did not come as a surprise. Kyle doesn't need to be told. He knows he needs to come into camp in better shape next season. He's working toward, I know everyone says this, but being in the best shape of his career or close to it next season. And Pat said it. Look, he missed a lot of games this year, personal reasons. It was a challenging year for a lot of reasons, mostly because of the family issue he was dealing with this year that kept him away from the team for weeks at a time. It kind of took his focus off basketball for those, for that stretch. So again, I know people were kind of wondering how Kyle would take those comments from Pat, where Pat basically said he needs to be in better shape. Kyle knows he needs to be in better shape. So there was no friction or anything like that. He knows he needs to come into camp next year in much better shape than he was this year.
Can you imagine if he argued it?
Yeah, right. Well, there was I don't know, how Twitter is, but there were fans saying that Kyle was going to be really upset at those comments because of what he was dealing with this year. But again, from what I've been told, the message has been relayed to him, and he agrees he needs to be in better shape next season.
Well, let's hope he does it, my brother, because it's going to be really, really important. I don't expect him to be the Robin.
Mm-hmm.
Listen, I talked about this before. DeRozan and Lowry, for many years, they tried to be the Batman and Robin to carry the Raptors over, and they couldn't do it. They needed to go trade for the star. the real star, that was the real franchise player. So even a young Lowry was not the guy that can get you over the top, but he has to be better as a complementary player to Jimmy. And that's, to me, ultimately, I'm hoping Jimmy's the one that's kind of busting his balls.
Yeah.
And by the way, did you pick up on Riley's line? What was it? Reminders you guys sent out about this.
Yeah.
Okay, I just want.
So we're doing patch job for him right now.
All right, so as long as you guys are writing that he was as fat as Alzugaray, you're all good. You're all good. Okay.
Pat Riley, let me tell you, 45 minutes of gold every summer.
Always.
Never fails. He's just one of the best press conferences in sports.
Yes. Always, and so much meat on the bone.
Oh God,
it's not even funny.
It's gonna last me 2 months.
Yeah, you're right.
2 months of content.
yeah, you're gonna be able to write more stories out of. Like, now I picked up on this now. Yeah, right. He's kind of, and so just one of those deals. Yeah, he's simply amazing. What are you working on in the Herald so folks can check you out, my friend?
Actually, what we just were speaking about, the message that Pat sent Bam and Tyler. I think that was, other than the Kyle Lowry stuff and Pat saying they're open to making a move if something presents itself, I think the most interesting thing from the press conference was what he said about Bam and Tyler and what it could mean for this team next season. Because I think, again, there's one of two ways this can go this offseason. Either he make a big change, they make a big splash and add a star, kind of be Jimmy's co-star, or most of his core is back and Bam and Tyler are going to be relied on to do a lot more. So I explored that in today's piece. So check it out at MiamiHerald.com.
And subscribe there to the Herald and support Anthony and all the exceptional writers there at the Miami Herald. Anthony, as always, my man, thank you. Appreciate your insight, my friend.
Thanks, Big O.
You got it.
Days.
Yes, sir. We will talk in a couple days. That is Anthony Chiang and our liquor split Miami Heat report.
This is the Big O Show. This is the Big O Show.